No, I'll move it. Like I was just about to get up and retreat to my office. Oh, well, go ahead. No, seriously, because it's.
Should I get printed copies or is that a, is there a printer here?
Well, there is, if you know how to work the printer.
I
yes.
don't.
Oh, either, but I can take you to it. Okay. I've never.
What's your application for?
No, I'm here, there's an application in for, a bar on 78th Street, so,
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
yeah.
New bar?
Yeah, well, it's taking over another one in the residential as well, so. Yeah, but we really have to run Columbus for where the bar is at. I mean, no, I don't think there's only on 78th.
No, maybe that's 78, but there are several on many others.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, you know, three more.
Okay, well, I'm going to present that.
Oh, really?
Well, you know, people know the neighborhood, I would just say, you know, it's what you want to do, and, you know, if there's an issue, somebody can bring it up.
No, I'm not doing it, I'm not the applicant.
Oh,
I'm listening to that. application.
Oh.
Yeah.
oh, I see,
I'm not happy.
Oh,
That
I
makes sense?
totally, now I.
Oh, sorry, it's like, well, how else should I say it?
No, you should absolutely be very, very clear about,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, you didn't sound like an applicant, that's to say.
Yeah,
You
no,
always
no.
presented in the best
Yeah,
way.
no,
Yeah,
definitely.
right, yeah. Okay.
You're on the board.
I am, yeah.
No. So you guys approve like a license that are.
You do, yeah, I mean, yeah. With first.
There are many levels, yeah. Yeah.
We don't approve if they have issues.
That's, okay.
It's a comedy club.
No, yeah, it's getting, I mean, there's a rep there, I think there's one there now, but it's gonna be a different comedy club and it's up to date.
Yeah.
You know, I think the ones they have downtown tend to be rowdy.
You want me to
and
grab the
late
plate?
at night,
Yeah,
There's
it's
a lot of marijuana smoking and
Right.
I'll be
outside.
back.
It's a very
Put this away.
residential block,
No, there
there's
you
just one, the synagogue also, so, you know, you want residents, like, there's Columbus, there's Amsterdam, those are very, you know, good commercial areas with bars and restaurants.
I don't know that it will stop before it's in the building yesterday.
Oh, well, we're saying your voice, right?
Mhm.
Worth having your voice, yeah.
Totally, absolutely, thank you for coming.
Yeah. No, I remember in a building I lived in, they wanted to put a bar, it's on Central Park, and there was a graffiti there. And the graffiti closed, they wanted to put a bar in, and the community went crazy because people stand outside, they smoke.
Where is this?
The bill,
Yeah.
it walks into the apartment.
She's here to comment on one of the applications.
Which bar?
Comedy club.
Comedy Club on 78th
Oh,
Street,
I know where it is.
yeah.
I gotta go test the audio. Yeah.
No, but it's a new one they're
Oh, it's
trying
new?
to put in, yeah,
Oh.
it's a different one. I think that one's been like nice and quiet. Every time someone new with a bar and a license comes and it's late night on a residential block with kids, smoke.
All blocks in New York are residential.
No, but Columbus and Amsterdam are much more commercial than residential.
Well, a lot of people live in those buildings.
I know, but those, when you buy on a very new residential lot,
Street
there's
versus
different.
Street versus that.
Well, no, I mean, Central Park
I
West
didn't want
is
to
very
say,
residential.
It's not original comment about.
Central Park West, it's not really.
You know, it's West Avenue.
Right, I went that, that's the one thing, you know.
Well, you're saying Broadway.
Amsterdam, yeah.
I get it.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
I'm saying there are differences when you buy,
Sure.
right, and you observe. And if you see like one commercial, entity, and you see, and you have to observe.
They changed to add a self, right? Add a self manually.
But
Put them in that.
I'm a big
that was
believer.
another thing.
I'll say
Then
this.
it's, yeah, we had.
Previous owner with no reflection of
We
the
actually, not
Right.
healthy.
Exactly, and the whole,
Some of them were over 40, we only had.
correct, that's, I agree with you.
And I.
Because a lot of people
Who are-
come in here and say,
okay,
oh,
because
people that owned it
We
before.
had 40 people do.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I think that's stupid.
People say, oh.
Right, so I'm saying almost the opposite.
No, it's good.
We had to grow
That
here.
they've been great and they monitor,
And I
like,
call.
Is this the same public people who leave it?
I think it's, I think
Same space.
it's the same thing, but it's a different comedy club. And it's a comedy club owner that will have a certain level, right? So people know it's also a crash different. Like people raise children differently.
Heard this. I wouldn't know, but I've heard. But I know what you mean about the bars. I worked at the bar.
Oh, is that what you do?
Not exactly,
Oh.
but I worked at Jake's Lot in the gym for 20 years.
Oh my God, back in that.
Yeah. I started bartending at 2000,
Oh my God.
but I did bartend at 2000.
Wait, what was the gym that called before?
Watermelon Saloon.
Watermelon Saloon.
Jake's is exaggerated.
And before that, it was something else.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's all I hear.
Anyway, I remember all those, but like, when you walk up and down the street on a Saturday night, you expect to have Amsterdam, Yeah, but they knew when they moved in, they knew what they were getting.
So I spotted it, which now, that moved on me, and she's hooked up to some sort of.
I live in the city.
I grew up, I lived here my entire life.
But you don't know.
Maybe not always for the better, but not always.
First many minutes of the meeting, she's like, shaking her head.
That's what about it.
She's like, I hear her, it's like, she's
Yeah.
very gentle.
You know, the amount of marijuana.
Although she's very expensive, so
Yeah.
I think that's running and.
I saw the cigarette.
I mean, she would just leave all.
I don't want to walk to my.
I used to live above, years ago, I lived above Malik.
I feel very happy to see that.
Yeah.
You know, when I heard that, I don't want.
I don't like it so bad now.
Otherwise, I would have had that, but it's kind of a lot, so
At least.
the way it's about, no, no, it's about.
Really nice.
That's like, this little man bar.
I mean, that's what's the name for me.
Really, we got it. That's something now.
Right, everybody is that.
Well, anyway, Beverly and I.
No, no, it's just, you know, so.
That's a great client.
Yeah.
Say, when they go down that list.
Yeah.
Lucky, but aesthetic, and regardless of like how close they go through, I don't want you to.
Other people like this, I did.
That's not legal.
Still not legal. Still not legal.
Unless you're a minor, I know.
No, it's not.
You do it, but that is, I think that's.
It's like thousand
I
developments
here.
We do need public bathrooms,
That's.
Totally, right?
but it costs like $3 million. to
Thank God
build
for
one.
Fairway.
Yeah. Or, you know, I remember,
That-
you know, Starbucks, like
They
the
don't let
public,
us smoke.
now they stopped, I know.
Yeah.
He was
Oh.
But,
How you doing?
HR, happy
You're right.
birthday.
for Olivia, you know, go back and test the audio. Hey, Linda. Hayden, I'm gonna head back. and test the audio.
Okay.
So you have some new.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Out your window, there's some new view you have.
Isn't that you?
I mean, what do you do?
Yeah, I thought it was a photo of that.
First time I ever tried it. And, all my responses from friends that follow me.
Well, I have the.
Don't do it again.
Yeah.
I have so beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you-
I was in.
Also, I didn't make my own.
No, I didn't do it at home because I didn't access the drive.
That's not-
I mean, I do.
At Eaton Theater.
So, and so.
No.
Someone did
you call
a
that
new
guy?
stand-up.
No, I texted you. I
AI
emailed you.
would call it stand.
I got stuck.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what you were saying. I didn't realize I didn't have that.
Aiden, Pest, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I can hear you guys too.
Oh, you know, you're very similar to the guy who was here a little earlier. Remember Ronnie Eldridge?
That maybe you could have.
She was our council member. She's the one
Oh,
who me
Oh, yeah. Like all relative.
But at Barbara's behest.
A little bit off, but she was definitely warmed up to get it going.
He's very, very,
Just
very,
general,
very
like,
close friends with
all
me.
in
And,
AI.
hello.
Stand
Hi, how
up.
are you, America?
Hi, Miranda. Are you, you're presenting tonight?
No, I'm listening, but I'm not happy about it. I'm looking for the thing.
And she's okay.
Fine.
She said, I'm gonna turn you.
New liquor license, with a new bonding program from the state.
And there always been a comedy club.
Yeah, but it's the new owner taking over.
You don't like who that is? Does he have a?
Wait,
Well,
stand
they
up.
get,
Or
it's
stand up
in
in
New York,
Yeah.
but
Been there
it's
for
a
about
new
30
one,
years.
right, right, I know, but this is a different owner.
She is.
So Danny.
Yeah.
Were you? Enjoying the work? I didn't even know, so he sold.
I don't know if that's.
Oh, wow.
I don't know exactly.
Oh, the board.
Dave, Robin.
There's our show is now.
I will.
Starts here with that next birthday.
All right, we'll find out.
Yeah.
So what's gonna happen? That's what I saw today.
Hello. Oh, yeah. How are you? Nice. How do you feel?
Well, in 2 years, I'll say.
Oh,
Can't me. Wherever you like. We're not going, you know,
Wow, isn't it?
wherever you like.
Sign dog.
Oh, fine.
Sign, please.
How you really doing?
Well, you do.
Yes,
Last
thank
night when I sat down,
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of saw it in your face, you know, but hey, you know, I mean, hey,
I'm working on it.
maybe don't. Yes, I know, it has me to be a personal trainer. Yeah,
She whipped me into shape, but she doesn't really. You're an inspiration. I'm happy to be him now. Good. She's a bartender also. Okay, oh. That baby. Hello, Douglas.
Hello.
How do you do?
I could get on
I
the-
can leave. You can stay with
Everyone. He was a
Hello.
sitting member for, you know.
Sorry, would you like to sign? He's coming. Yeah, he was there last time. He was in the background. I know that. I do know. that.
Yeah.
And then.
Where's
Shelley
Shelley
just
gonna
got
be?
a promotion. Shelley just got a promotion. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
no, he's-
Yeah.
I don't know enough of my-
The big macha.
Oh, there's,
Yeah,
she's here from home.
Doug changed his mind. I thought I had him to change. He flipped it.
Well,
No, no.
Give me your name again?
Aiden,
Aiden, how old are you?
25.
25. What do you think, being 25, about this 16-year-old Cohen? Do you have a opinion on him one way or the other?
I was at yesterday's
Yeah, that's
meeting.
about it.
And, like, honestly, it was a pretty good point about what they said. Something about 16-year-olds have specific thoughts towards
Players.
voting for a specific thing, but they're not fully
Able to do
capable of understanding.
I think when you're 16, when you're 17, I mean, I started college a month after my 17th birthday, and I knew I ran the world. I knew everything. And it took me about 10 years to realize how little I knew.
Nobody's super. I have to. I feel like when I was like growing up too, like you, a parent or an adult would always be like, listen, you know, your kid like, shut up and learn. And then one day you'll be old enough and you'll make all the rules. And all the other kids will your kid will like yell at you. That being said, I think it's also context, like 16-year-olds, like there are 16-year-olds who are very mature, and there's 16, 17
I remember
that are
that.
not, and like depending on where you are, in society, you have different things.
I
Wait,
think
one
my
second,
age
there's a
is
sure
all-
probably like-
my age is
And
like-
there's some that are like
Listen,
crackers.
It's all, of course. So, like, my thing is that society is structured around your being.
And vote is like the most precious thing you have. And to say that they have a maturity level to vote influence all of these policies from the most thing to the most significant, but are at the same time
All right.
not
I think we're
mature
gonna-
to engage in so many different activities. It's like the 21, when you're walking, the 21 drinking, I find it so incredibly offensive that we can give one to.
you made it.
18-year-old, you go over, get confused.
Yeah.
But you can't even go back and kill someone else, but they're not mature enough to be able to sit down and have a glass of wine or a
Right.
bowl of pasta at a restaurant. It's like such a.
Are we ready? So, let's get,
Oh, welcome.
my name is Joshua Cohen. I'm the co-chair, one of the co-chairs of the BCI Committee, Business and Consumer Issues Committee, and we'd like to begin the meeting, February 7th, 2024. First thing we want to do is to vote on adopt the agenda. So the agenda is a discussion of the budget priorities with budget and strategy, which Roberta is going to present a quick presentation. And then we have two applications we're going to hear, 480 Amsterdam and 236 West 78th Street. We'll have the presenters be able to speak, and the public will also be able to speak on both of these applications. So do we have a
Motion to approve.
motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Second. Oh,
Everybody in favor?
yes, I.
Great.
Do we
Non-committee?
have a quorum?
We do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where's our co-chair?
Ben's on his way. He's running a couple of.
Anybody online, approved?
Non-committee members approve the agenda.
They don't have.
If they're not, but are they approved to
Is
be,
she been pre-approved?
So,
is anyone who can vote if they're not pre-approved?
oh, then no.
No.
Okay.
And
Jamie is
she
not
was
on
on the committee, but I do not on the committee.
No, neither is Semer.
Okay, they can discuss. It again.
Yeah.
So, I want to turn it over to Roberta. Roberta, you ready to present?
I am.
Great.
Thank you so much for having me. Seema is also a member of the Budget and Strategy Committee, so she's doing double duty tonight. So I think everybody knows, but I just like to present this to every committee. BCI rarely has a expense or capital budget, but you might. So it's important to know this. We are mandated, the community board is mandated to do a district needs statement every year. We are supposed to look at our stakeholders, our different organizations, and talk to the different agencies about some of the needs and how we can help facilitate them. We are advisory, but we are also an advocate group. So the district needs is prepared every year. We voted on the fiscal, our district needs and our fiscal year 25 budget expense and capital budget at our October meeting this year. And we have presented it. We've gotten back on our budget request. We've gotten back from the ONB, the information from the different agencies as to whether they could fund what we've asked for or not. At the different committees where they've had funding requests, we will discuss that with them, but you have no funding requests this year. You might now, with the outdoor dining, you might need to have more enforcement or something going forward. We are starting to work on the fiscal year 26. And I know, it's sort of scary. We have a date. Our present district needs statement is up. It's up on our website. You're more than welcome to read it. It's getting better each year, and this coming year, the city planning has a new portal, so it'll be even easier to to put in photos and to have a better dialogue about what's happening in the community. We have rarely had anything from BCI, but we certainly could, and it, you know, we've talked about small businesses in the community, and that's been part of the district need statement is having businesses. So what we'd like you to do, if you'd like to have something about business and about improving businesses, we'd need that by the end of June. I know you don't meet in the summer, but you could discuss something in June and get it to me over the summer. And if you did have a budget priority, we would need that also over the summer. Semer, do you want to add something? Any questions?
Anybody? No?
I think if the DNS, but then do it in the public bathroom, it's why.
No, I don't think so.
Nope.
Great. Thanks, Roberta. I'm trying to come up with something.
Thank you so much. Take care. Have a good meeting.
Thank you.
So, first application we're going to hear is 480 Amsterdam Avenue. Do we have a presenter here for 480 Amsterdam Avenue? I think it's.
Yes, there is. I'm just gonna sign in. Hello,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? My name is Vaknin.
Welcome.
Thank you for seeing me. I know it was a last minute. There was a little confusion with the 30-day notice, but thank you for seeing me. Let me know if I can start, if you have any questions, or if I can tell you about myself, about what we're looking to do.
Go ahead.
Sorry?
Yes, yeah, get started.
About your application?
Ready for you.
Yeah, we're ready for you.
Okay, so my name is Vaknin. I'm a partner in a restaurant called Bustan on 487 Amsterdam Avenue. We've been around for 10 years. My partner Tuvia Feldman knows a few of the members of the board. He also used to own Artists around the corner, and we are in a process of taking over the bar across the street on 480 Amsterdam Avenue. And
Is that the Avenue?
yes, it's called the Avenue. So we're in the process of taking it over, and we're looking to do more of an all-day cafe that opens a little earlier and transition into from like breakfast to lunch, dinner, and possibly some craft cocktail towards the end of the night. But some place a little bit more inviting, more casual, more neighborhoody, more welcoming. You know, we live on this block for so many years, and we feel like something like that will be beneficial for the neighborhood. That's pretty much. Hello? 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 I don't know where I lost you.
Audio. Josh, can you hear us?
Hello?
I don't know if they know that we can't hear them.
Josh, can you hear us?
Hello? I
We
can
can't
hear you, but
Aiden, if you can hear me, could you do the hold on one sec. Aiden, if you could just do the thing where you log back out and log back in, that should fix it. Just hang on for like a minute or two at most. It's a tech issue, but it unfortunately happens maybe half of our meetings, but it should be back on in about a minute or so.
So are you asking me to log out?
Yeah. No. You hang tight. They'll circle back in about a
Okay,
minute
okay.
or so. Sorry about that. We need more funding for better equipment.
Can you hear us now, Max?
I know.
Super clear now. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank
Go
you.
ahead. All good.
Yes, how many seats?
How many seats are you gonna have there?
So I think there is an existing floor plan right now. We're not looking to change much. The only thing that we might do is maybe make the bar a little smaller, because right now it's like a bar and it's a big bar, and we're looking to do more dining. So I think at the most there's going to be under 70 seats, something like that. That's what the floor plan allows at the moment. Or maybe 60 seats plus 8 at the bar, something along those lines. Depends of the layout and what we'll be able to to get approved. But yeah.
Say that you wanna.
What is the cuisine again? And what?
Here's a.
Oh, thanks.
I'm sorry.
Well, it said that you want to stay open until 2 a.m. Do you plan on being a bar until 2 a.m. or is your kitchen gonna be open until 2 a.m.? What's the plan for 2 a.m.?
So right now they have a 4 a.m. liquor license, and I mean I know the neighborhood, and I know that it's not a very late place, and I'm not sure we're gonna stay until 2 a.m. But if we are gonna stay that late, then the kitchen is gonna stay like at least an hour, at least until an hour before the bar closes.
Okay. Are you gonna be doing deliveries?
Yes.
Will you be using your own delivery people or a third party?
Right now we use a third party, and most likely we'll use a third party.
Okay. And in terms of music, you say background music, but then on the application, it says might occasionally have music by a small band of DJs. Can you describe what that is?
So I'm planning to have like a background music, but I myself DJing as a hobby, so I guess I put it over there. So once in a blue moon, if we wanna have somebody playing the music and creating like a vibe, we'll be able to do it. It's obviously not like a ticketed event or anything like that. It's just for the vibe of the space. Maybe like a brunch, or I'm not sure, but nothing clubby.
Great, thank you. Any other questions?
The menu doesn't.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like. There was a 4 a.m. He's only applying for a maximum of 2 a.m.
No, that's what he says is hours of operation. Right. He's not saying that at all.
What? No, but I'm saying, but on the method of operation, he's requesting 2 a.m. for his new license. He's not.
No, his hours of operation are 2 a.m. They have a 4 a.m. liquor license, taking over the liquor license. Correct?
How are you? You can't transfer the new license.
So,
You can't transfer.
right,
Is that the method of operation thing you're looking at?
yes, it says hours
Okay,
of operation.
so those are the hours he's going to be, because that'll be the stipulation on the MOO.
Yes,
Unless we want,
right.
personally.
I don't think,
But
If you look at the menu, it's also very daytime.
yeah.
Very daytime, breakfast time.
Anybody from the public have anything they'd like to say about this?
I'm not seeing anyone online.
No, fine. Okay.
And then you can see if anybody's coming.
Anybody online have anything they'd like to add? No? Call the question.
Other questions.
All in favor? Opposed? Same. Can't vote for cause? No. Non-committee members?
Nobody can vote for that.
They can't vote for their online, okay, so. Let's, application approved 7-0-0-0. Oh,
Yeah, but it's 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I get 7.
I got it now.
Okay.
Great, thank you, good luck. Oh, one last question.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Last question, when do you anticipate taking over for Avenue?
So they're waiting they're on a temporary license right now. They've been waiting for their permanent for like 10 months. So it's supposed to come any day now. The moment they get their permanent, I'm gonna apply for my temporary. So I'm assuming about 2 months, and I'm planning to do a quick renovations, nothing like more like FF&E, like some seating and colors and things like that, but not like anything major. So I'm hoping to open by April, May, the latest.
Oh,
Great,
terrific.
good luck.
Well, I mean, I think both are good there. You've got the good floor and
Yeah.
everything. So good luck.
Thank you, good luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You.
Good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Now we have 236 West 78th Street. What do we have presenting for that?
Hi, my name's Kim Summers. I'm the attorney for Get a Real Job LLC, and I'm joined with the applicant principal, Scott and Emilio, who are also on this Zoom as well.
How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
So why don't you tell us a little about what's going on here?
Sure. So this application is for a comedy club at 236 West 78th Street. My clients, Emilio and Scott, are experienced operators who have been operating 2 other comedy clubs in Manhattan, one at 241 East 24th Street and another at 85 East 4th Street. There have not been any incidents at either location. One has been operating since 2014, the other since 2018. The applicants intend to have about 5 to 7 comics a night with multiple shows and an open mic night. They will have security guards, which is a part of their method of operation to make sure that there are no incidents, just like at their other 2 locations. And there's going to be seating inside for 130. There's one bar that has 8 seats, and then there's 37 tables with 122 seats. The proposed licensed premises currently has an on-premise license, and they have been operating as a comedy club at this location, so the space is all built out. They are seeking hours of operation of 5 p.m. to 4 a.m., which we believe is consistent with the current operators, although we're not entirely sure. Online now with the SLA's new system, it really isn't showing all the stipulations on the licenses. So we believe that's consistent. And that's really the 4 a.m. hours are because some of the comedians come in later in the evening after they've done other shows, and they come in and, so it's kind of giving everybody an opportunity to come in and take the stage. And that's pretty much it. Obviously, we're happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any other questions?
I have a comment, Joe. So, alma mater, I was a comedian, and that when Carrie Hoffman owned it before Danny took it over. Good vibes in that room. And
We knew Carrie well, actually. We worked with Carrie back in the day when he was doing that Sinatra show in Midtown. Did you ever go to that?
right, I'm sure. And so your new operator's taking over. Danny is out, you guys are in, right?
Yep.
And congratulations on that. The 2 clubs that you own, what are the names of those clubs?
So and hi everyone. My name is Emilio. That's Scott. Thank you so much for seeing us in short notice. We own the New York Comedy Club, which in its existing location on 24th Street had been around since 1989. So we took it over. Our MO really has kind of become we take over spaces that were comedy clubs that kind of started tapering off a bit, and we go into those spaces and we sort of revitalize them. So our first location was the original New York Comedy Club on 24th Street. And that went very well. And then 5 years later, we took over another comedy club. At the time, it was called the Eastville Comedy Club, which was on 4th Street and 2nd Avenue. The landlord there reached out to us because he was having issues with the tenant there. So we decided to expand there. And ironically, it's the same exact scenario. Steve Zeller, who is the landlord, his dad Mark's the landlord with Donnie, reached out to us because he knew we were trying to expand, and unfortunately Donnie's struggling there, and he had asked us if we can come in and basically do what we did at the last 2 venues. And we wanted to because we we've known about the, I mean, Stand New York's been an institution since 1986. So we certainly, and look, guys, since COVID, comedy's taken a hit. 3 major clubs have left the city. Caroline's is no longer there. Dangerfield's closed, and the Creek and the Cave, Long Island City. Us and another club called the Comedy Cellar have really been the 2 that really thrived. We actually added a location in Connecticut in the last year, which is going very, very well. So, we just feel it's important to keep comedy going. Upper West Side's a great demographic. My brother used to live on 72nd in Columbus. So our interest in taking over Stand New York is really, it's been very, very much a high priority for us to want to open another venue. Stand New York's perfect. It fits everything that we've done in the past. It's existing, it's there, it's turnkey. All we need to do is really go in, put some paint on the place, create our own brand and logo, and go.
Excellent. Maybe you can ingratiate Seinfeld to come back in, because I think Donnie.
I
know,
so,
that was a whole thing.
So we do. Yeah. So
just want to say
actually,
that.
Oh, sorry.
Well, this is just because we're speaking about this. The great Al Martin passed away yesterday.
We're very close.
You know your stuff, man. You got to go. So Al was a dear friend. So we're really sad. If you go to my Instagram page and our club's page, we put out an homage to him. I was supposed to have a call with Al last night, so I was pretty devastated by it.
Well, I say welcome to the neighborhood. I'm very, very much in support of your application.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You still doing stand-up? I hope not. You still doing it?
You'll have to come back.
I spent a lot of time in that room, many hundreds and hundreds.
When I was a teenager, I did open mics there. I Lisa Lampanelli with my.
Oh Jesus, yeah. So Lisa frequents our Connecticut club. She doesn't do stand-up anymore, but Lisa's from Connecticut, and Scott lives in Connecticut in Stamford. I live in the city, but I'm from Connecticut, and she comes around. So it's funny you mentioned Seinfeld, though. We do a lot of work with Mark Norman, and so Jerry and Mark are really close. So Mark runs a weekly show with us at the club called Good Eggs. It's like the most popular show, and we manage a bunch of comics too. I don't know if you're a Chris DiStefano fan, but we manage Chris. So Chris is, so our opening week is going to be huge. We're going to have Andrew Schultz, Chris DiStefano, Mark. It's going to be really, those are our lineups all the time, but yeah, we're excited. We're really pumped about the Upper West Side. We feel like it's missing what it, Stand New York unfortunately hasn't done it in the last few years. So.
Excellent. Any other questions for the guy? Anybody else from the committee have anything before we go to the public?
No.
So please, from the public, just please state your name and what you'd like to say.
My name is Barry Dartmouth. I got the West Side Streets that are around the corner from the club. Know it very well and want like totally understand that the club has been existing for quite some time. I've been there since my husband's been there since 1999. It's crossed now since 93. It is a neighborhood street. There are a lot of gatherings in the street prior to, after. We're all out this friendly. I know that the current club has tried to control it and done a great job of it. But it is a residential street. There are more buildings that have gone up next door, literally next door, that I know people who live in that who have complaints. And so there are considerations for those neighborhood streets that need to stay quieter. We already have a ton of bars right around the corner on Amsterdam. We hear it every night. I do this look quite close to Blondie, as well as some of the other ones. And those bars should really remain on Amsterdam or Broadway. Having it on a residential side street didn't have a say when it first came. The club first came, have a say now. So I just want to put it out there that we should be cognizant of the fact that it is a residential street. They do gather on the street corners prior to late night and block the streets even with their cars, double parking, and really have big quite a commotion on the corner. As well as I did partake in, cleanup of the street over COVID and post-COVID. And the trash that people, while walking on the street, they deposit things anywhere and everywhere. So I think it just would behoove us to try to clean it up quite a bit and have the noise kept down. If you're saying that opening nights and the other shows go on till 4 a.m., that is quite late on our corner when, again, just wanted to state that that street is very residential, and I actually walk that street as opposed to walking up 79th Street where I live because it's residential. And it's quieter, it's not happening until it's nighttime, where the comedians and the club owners just hang out a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
Appreciate that.
if I'd love to address that if I can. Yeah, I want to, our original location, you couldn't be in a more residential neighborhood. The 24th Street and 2nd is literally like all residents, and CB3 could be a very difficult community board. We are very, very, very empathetic and cognizant of making sure that we're not creating any chaos outside. It's, you know, again, when we took over the original New York Comedy Club, that was something that was very much something that we had to be very, very cognizant of. So I really do assure you, like, we are very, very cognizant of that. We even have a similar, even though our East Village Club is on like a busy street, we have neighbors in the back as well. And, you know, Scott and I are very open to anyone who has any issues. You can always contact us, call us, reach us. We're always available and accessible to that. You know, one of the things that we're very, very particular on is having, you know, proper security. And, you know, and we're actually now seen as like a real positive influence in the neighborhood on 24th Street, because it is a much safer place because we're there, because we always, it's, you know, it's lit up. It's not like obnoxiously lit up, but, you know, there's life there, meaning there's, you know, there's a security guard out front. And we're not intending on having shows run crazy late. It's just having a buffer when we do like prom shows or whatever the case is, you know, to have that extra wiggle room. But yeah, no, we 100% understand. We're very used to, you know, we don't own comedy clubs in Times Square. You know, we're very, very accustomed to having to work within, you know, understanding there's neighbors there. And Scott, I don't know if you want to add to that or not, but
Yeah, I mean, we've had nothing but good things, good relationships with our neighbors since we took over the clubs. Gramercy in particular is really like in the middle of a neighborhood. It was a big thing for us to make sure that we were not having huge lines outside and making sure that after the shows, our security guards are telling people, you know, not to stand around and smoke outside. Also, the 4 a.m. Is not something that happens on a regular basis. Even on the weekends, it's rare. I mean, it's really rare that we would have really anything going on at 3 o'clock in the morning. And if there was something going on, it wouldn't be like a ruckus type of situation. But again, like, you know, we're more than happy to have conversations with people who live in the neighborhood. You know, we're completely available. If there's any issues, we're more than happy to address them.
To follow up on that, knowing full well that opening bar area is quite small, how do you control that?
yeah, I mean, so I think one of the things that differentiates us from a lot of comedy clubs, again, you take a comedy club like the Comedy Cellar. Comedy Cellar is like running a bar, you know, they have the comedy, then the bar. You know, we're not really, you know, people ask us all the time, are you running a bar or a comedy club? We run a comedy club. You know, our job is to get people into the shows and then get them out. You know, the bar is not going to be like packed with just random people. Comics will be there, of course. You know, obviously people show up before the show, they have a drink. But, you know, we're looking to turn crowds around and get them out and get a new crowd in, you know, on a lot of nights.
We also space our shows out appropriately, so we have enough time to get people out before we have huge lines of people waiting to get in.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, like Emilio said, you know, the bar really is more of a service bar than anything. We're not going to have huge crowds of people like hanging out at the bar until 4 o'clock in the morning. The only people that are at the bar typically are comics that are just waiting to go up for the next, you know, and there's only whatever, 5-6 comics maybe. So the bar is definitely not like a typical bar like you would think of. And again, spacing out the shows is how we've had a lot of success at the Gramercy location, making sure that there's enough time between shows so that you're not getting like that pileup of hundreds of people just waiting outside.
Yeah, you're never going to see us promoting like a St. Patrick's Day special for customers. It's not really like, we're not like doing that stuff. It's, you know, we're selling tickets, we're driving people into the shows. They do an item minimum, they go, you know.
Right. Thank you. Yes, your name, please.
My name is Meryl Diva. I wanted to have from the neighborhood as well.
Please.
But also when you say you're back-to-back shows, there's the natural lineup, as much as you say that there's no space in the front of the vestibule as you walk in. So there's always huge crowds, people smoking weed, people drinking, even if you're not supposed to, people getting rowdy. It's a residential block, a lot of kids, not gonna, and my kids always being exposed to that on a constant basis. With the smoke wafting into each of the apartments, which is inevitable. I also believe there are more than 3 liquor licenses in the 500 radius, and I wanted to just ask the question about there must be a violation of the 500 rule when there are more than 3 liquor licenses in the 500.
No,
That's
nothing.
triggers like.
What?
No, it has more to do with the 500 feet from a school.
Sure, no, there's a none. But,
No, it's a 500.
Yeah. So I guess, I wanted to say that out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, certainly, and to again, just stress out, we're very staffed up. We're very like, our staff works like clockwork and making sure everything is staggered properly. You know, again, it's not like there's a show at 7 o'clock and another show 8:30. You know, we always have over 2 hours in between shows. Shows run between an hour and 20, hour and 30 minutes max. By the time we're filing out the other people, like we ask people to arrive about 20 minutes before showtime, 30 minutes before showtime. So it's all really set up in a way where there's not like huge lines. And plus customers get angry when there are huge lines. We don't want people really waiting outside, you know, for half hour. It's just, you know, again, we're working in a much smaller space in Gramercy too. I mean, our bar in Gramercy is tight, you know, so believe it or not, the current location is like, it's like moving into a penthouse for us. We have a lot more room to operate, whereas in Gramercy is very, very small. So you know, we're very accustomed to all these things you're talking about, making sure, you know, there aren't massive lines, making sure that there aren't people in the street smoking, making sure that people leave after a show, they're not congregating. These are all things that we're very, very accustomed to doing. And we always have a lot of staff. We're not like, you know, we're not gonna have like 1 or 2 people working. There's always a manager on staff. We have,
Thank you.
Sure.
No, I was curious to hear what methods of the crowd control. If it's like that now, and you're saying it's struggling in its current state, and you're much more vibrant, I'm just curious what methods you put in place that aren't currently put in struggling clubs, and you will then have in place, you're much more vibrant.
oh, I mean, the current comedy club that's there, not to say anything negative, I mean, they don't even have a staff really. I mean, I don't know if you realize there's a revolt going on right now against them because the owner hasn't paid anyone in months. They don't even have a manager. We have a director of operations manager. Scott and I have over 70 employees. So one, we're going to be staffed up properly. The current club is not being staffed up properly. I can't even tell you if they even have security, you know? So again, it's all about making sure that there's enough people in-house to deal with everything that's going on. You know, the current club is just not being operated properly, and it hasn't for a very long time. They've switched owners. They had a third partner, this gentleman, James Altucher, who wrote that article that Seinfeld got angry about. He left. There's another owner, Gabe, who's basically not even involved. I mean, Scott and I could not be more hands-on. We are very involved, and we have a staff that's got a lot of, you know, their skin in the game, and we're going to have the proper staff there. And again, Scott, I don't know if you want to address it as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, we're very involved in the community. And we're more than happy to have direct conversations with anybody who has issues with how we're operating. I mean, there's a reason we have 4 clubs. And there's a reason why comedy clubs who are struggling, you know, owners of buildings reach out to us specifically because we're able to flip these clubs and run them properly and run them in a professional way. That's great for comics, good for customers, good for the neighborhood, you know. Again, like we do have a good reputation as far as running things smoothly. We're not letting incredibly drunk people into the club. You know, we have a 2-drink minimum, but nobody can really even drink more than 2 drinks based on the amount of.
We have an item minimum, Scott. We have an item minimum, so they don't even have to order.
Yeah, exactly.
Just drinks. We have an item minimum.
Yeah, so the point is, it's not like a ruckus, it's not like a lot of crazy drunk people. Like, if people show up that are already intoxicated, we don't even let them into the club. And we certainly wouldn't let them be in line intoxicated, smoking weed and making trouble, It's not good for our reputation. It's not good for the community. I mean, we understand. I get it. I mean, if you're living in the neighborhood, you don't want hundreds of people roaming around drunk and being loud and annoying. I understand that. I mean, from a human perspective, that's just kind of what we do. We run things properly,
Josh, you have a couple of online hands. Just want to flag. We don't have to go to them now, but when you're ready.
Okay, I think we have some more people here that would like to speak.
Okay.
Next one.
I just want to follow up.
Can you just say your name, please?
My name's Vaknin.
Thank you.
77th Street, right behind the club.
Thank you.
I just want to follow up, that we were talking, you could ask something about the 500 people, and you were talking amongst yourself about why identify, what to identify. Can you just explain what you're saying?
Do you want me to?
We're disagreeing over just two things. One is the concentration of number of bars within a district, and then the distance from a house of worship. I think those are two different sets of rules.
100-foot rule. So want me to take that? I can explain. So the 200-foot rule says that you can't have an on-premise license within 200 feet of a building that's used exclusively for a church or a school. There has to be exclusive use in that building. That's 200 feet. It doesn't apply to beer and wine licenses. It only applies to full liquor. So that's the 200-foot rule. It can't be on the same street within 200 feet. The 500-foot rule says that there cannot be more than 3 or more licensed establishments within 500 feet of each other unless there's a showing that the issuance of the license is in the public interest. So obviously everybody lives in Manhattan. There's streets everywhere where there's 10, 15 bars within within 500 feet. It's just how it works. So what it requires is that the applicant, when you're applying for the liquor license, you have to undergo a 500-foot hearing. So you have to show that the issuance of the license meets some sort of public interest, that it's, basically it's adding to the community. You have to show that the operators of the establishment don't have any, a history of violations or disciplinary issues, that they've been good operators. If they haven't, been licensed before, they do take a look at how many licenses are in the area. But there's no prohibition against more than 3 licenses. It's just that it's not presumed. You have the applicant has the burden of sort of meeting certain benchmarks to show that there's good reason to issue that license as opposed to it just being, presumed. Does that make sense?
For those of you who all live in the neighborhood, we all know in the last couple of years, those of us who live on 77, 78, and 79 around Broadway, we had it tough over the last 4 years with a lot of issues and a lot of people who were in our neighborhood who we did not feel safe around. And we have finally gotten to a point where walking at night, walking during the day, finally cleaned up. It is finally starting to get to a point where it is better. And except for one corner. And there is huge concern from all of us, as you can tell, that we are here tonight, that this is going to bring an additional element into our neighborhood. We're going to have additional food trucks. We're going to have an element of folks coming into our neighborhood that haven't been in there before, late at night, and just bringing that back into our neighborhood when we're finally at a point where we feel safe walking. This is the rest. 78th Street is a residential block. 79th Street is not a place we like walking. Now we're not going to like walking on 78th either. And it just doesn't feel like it's fair to us.
May I say something real quick? And again, I totally understand.
I live on 4th Street. It's also a residential block. My building is adjacent to the Beacon Theater. There are many nights during the week I cannot get in my front door because of the crowds that are there. And who's there? The Tina Fey and it's Seinfeld every night. And yet I know it's possible, but I mean I chalk it up to, and also I live at the top of the building, and when those shows get going, the first time this happened to me, I thought there was an earthquake happening. I can hear it 17 floors up in my building, I chalk it up to living in New York. I mean, look, we don't live in the city of New York, even on a side street, and expect that we're not gonna have some establishments, and I'm glad for them, because just like this place will bring life to your block, the beacon is always lit up, and I think that's a big plus. It's not scary when I go home.
I don't disagree with you, and if I lived around the corner from the beacon, I would feel the same way. This is not the beacon.
But I do- I just-
Elements of, and this is a completely.
I'm curious as to what you mean by comments.
Yeah,
just-
because these are.
Thing-
No, I keep.
I don't know what you mean.
Exactly.
No, no, I'm gonna tell you.
I don't know what you mean. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah,
The time, look at the time of day that we're referring to. 4 in the morning versus the beacon ends at midnight.
4 in the morning.
No,
Yeah, yeah. They have midnight shows.
Midnight is different than 4 AM.
It starts at midnight. They have a midnight show too.
Well, I just want to add one other thing, which is that the premises that obviously we're here about, West 78th Street, that's a license, that already has an on-premise license. And so the next applicant that comes in, whether it's my clients or anybody else, they're most likely, you know, unless they have a bad disciplinary history, and the community board is completely opposed to them, they're going to get a license. So it's, do you want these operators, or do you want it to go to another bar or a restaurant? Because it's not adding to the licenses. So from the SLA's perspective, they are going to approve another license at this establishment. So you can either have my clients who have a track record of working with the community, they have proper security, they properly stagger their shows, they make sure no one's walking around, they are invested, they're invested in the locations, they're invested in their reputations, they're not a bar, you're not going to have people drunk, piling out at all hours of the night. And so it's either them, or, if the space remains vacant or somebody else comes in, because there's already been an on-premise license there, anybody else can get it. And so then you're in a situation where it could be a bar. It could, with a much higher occupancy, and you are looking at those issues that you wouldn't have with my clients. And so unfortunately, that's the trade-off. And I'm not saying that, I'm just, giving you a very honest response as far as how the State Liquor Authority is going to view that. They're not adding another license because they're replacing an existing license. So once an establishment has been licensed for a full on-premise license, it makes it, very difficult to sort of break the cycle of other on-premise license locations, which is why, as an attorney, we often advise our clients to find a space where there's not just a beer and wine license, where there's a full on-premise license, because they're more likely to get it. And so I certainly understand your concerns, and I think that my clients are extremely responsive at their other locations to people with exactly your concerns. And I think that they've proven, over the last 10 years, that they are good operators who are looking to avoid exactly what you're hoping to avoid. It's in everybody's interest.
If I may just add, I just really want to just add one thing, because again, I those concerns that everyone has, or that, you guys have, we hear you. When COVID happened, I mean, I lived in New York through COVID. It was terrifying. Scott was dealing with crazy fireworks in Astoria when he lived up there. Remember, there was that whole firework thing happening. We were seen as a welcome. We were seen as like a breath of fresh air when we reopened, because it made the block safer. We were a presence there, later at night. It was safer to walk by in the neighborhood because we always had security there. And we're not bringing, like, I need to really hammer this in. We're not bringing in a drunk audience. We're bringing in actually a very high class clientele. If you go to our comedy club website, we're not charging $4, $5 a tickets. We're charging premium prices. We're not bringing in, a young rowdy audience. We're bringing in a sophisticated upscale audience who's there for the comedy, and I really hope, I know, I'm very confident in knowing that we will be seen as a real positive in the neighborhood, because again, we're going to be policing that street for the most part. I mean, we really are going to make sure that people are not loitering around. And that's beneficial, even though it is late at night. It's almost a good thing that we're there a little later, because you're going to have less ruckus. And we also have cameras at all our venues. We always know what's going on. Like, we're very on top. Security is like our number one thing. You know,
Thank
I
you.
think that's one of the reasons why comics love working with us too, because they know they're going into a safe environment. The current establishment is not doing that. That's
Thank
there.
you. But if you're gonna speak up a little bit too.
I'm Semer, I live around the corner.
Thank you.
I want to just first respond to the attorney's statement. That if we don't, have this comedy club, we're gonna have someone else. I would prefer to have something other than comedy. You have a full liquor license with a restaurant that goes until 11, and it's quiet, it's people. We don't have 3 shows going on a night. I mean, the only way to run, and I'm not speaking about this particular company, which I like to frequent, it's not bad. But if you're gonna make money, this is down by this kid. You're 2024, you have to have people to see, and you have to have at least 2 shows a night, 3 shows a night, you want to even make a profit. And that is taking people to go with the neighborhood, bringing them to this neighborhood destination. There's nowhere else to go. I take a look at this particular applicant. I know the bar very intimate. There's nowhere to go. You're in, you're in. And when you want to put more people in, all the people inside have to leave. And there's nowhere to go because it's a residential street. So no matter what you do and how much you police, they're not going to stop 100+ people leaving, and then another 100+ coming and overlapping. And now it's a game changer because the geniuses decided that weed is legal with no rules or no infrastructure whatsoever. And smoking outside is one thing. Smoke outside is cigarette, fine, smoke all day. But when you smoke weed, it comes to your apartment 2 blocks away. And it doesn't go away. And they're like, it's fine, smoke, but it's the car club wasn't having shows past 11 o'clock. And now you're saying you're gonna have it from 4 a.m. And I just don't think it's a good way to street to have it. I didn't know.
No, go, you are.
Were you all noticing problems when the club, like with the current club, or all these like potential things that you?
Randy's been there since 1990.
I know, I know that. When I'm asking, are currently
I was in
experiencing
the
this?
club in the 90s. I was in the club in the early 2000s. We all live in Manhattan. I'm not gonna, speculate as to how long you guys lived here. But 70, right? So you'll agree that the neighborhood has changed. If you're not getting a studio for $900 a month, you're not splitting 2-bedroom with friends. It's not like young college kids. These are multi-millionaire families living with their kids, $75,000 a kid for school. This is not the neighborhood. There's a reason why it's quiet, because it's not New York of 1995.
So just my question is, are you noticing the problems with the club now? Or are these perceived problems that you see with the main club? Right, the club has been open for a while.
And if they do a late show, the late show is 8 o'clock.
I've been to it, so I'm just curious. I'm just trying to understand.
I did sometimes.
On the weekends,
That's the experience, to answer your question, yes, that is the experience, you see the people waiting outside online. And waiting for their young.
Okay, I think it's not, to speak to these people, I'm sure they're great. It's gonna operate great.
I just asked my question.
But like, when you have
Yeah,
nowhere else to go but wait outside, and when you have a group of people that are waiting outside, dash in hand to go, you don't know who's coming, no matter how much cash, people get drunk, no matter how much they come, there's no one else to get drunk within, a north. You have to be ready to get into the club, you wanna get your seat, and you have to stand outside, and with that comes the type of people that like to solicit, donations and begging and panhandling, and just, one thing, gets another.
Thank you, Andrew.
So I guess, and I think maybe the last 2 kind of comments answer my question, but I'll kind of ask it anyway. I think these situations are always tough, but a place like this, been here with since the 80s. A lot of the comedy clubs, they express part of kind of the cultural fabric of what makes New York unique, and the people that come out of it, like influence culture, history, and who we are, and all of these things. And it's been there. So I guess my question is, do you just think it's not appropriate for a comedy club and you just don't want to see a comedy club there? Or are you concerned about their ability to address your concerns? So are you saying there should be no comedy club? Or are you saying that I would like these operators to do X, Y, Z, or commit to doing X, Y, Z? Is it like basically shouldn't be there, or I'm okay with it being there, but I want them to
agree to doing these.
I don't think there's real going to.
I get it, but I guess my question, but my question is that, do you just not want a comedy club there at all? Or are there things that they, yeah.
But absolutely, the traffic, the people traffic. During those times and turnover times and all of that, really we walk the streets. I have walked, my friends have walked their dogs there. They have been blocked. There have been triple parks, double parks. You can't even get the car out. You know, it's really heavily during, you know, starting in the evening where you're walking, and there are lines out there and people gravitate towards what we were saying. A lot of the restaurants right around the corner, right between 78 and 79, are closing earlier now. Since COVID, they close at 8 o'clock, some 7:30.
You cannot say that. I cannot say.
I see it across the street, the Mexican place right there.
That's the only one that does, because that's the type of restaurant.
Yep.
That's a comedy.
Okay, but that's right here. There's nothing else that's open.
There's
There's
people
nothing
and.
else.
Okay, so let's just-
Hang on, please, one person at a time, please. Wait.
That there, like, but it's policing that corner to make sure that the lines aren't crowding streets. You cannot walk on that.
Well,
side of the street.
I would like to respond to that, just to say it's really important, I feel, that we cannot judge the new operators based on what you perceive the old operators to do. I don't think that's fair to the new operators. I'm not saying the world is perfect, because it's not. But just because you perceive and I don't doubt what you say, I don't live on that street, but I did work in that area for many years. So I understand what you're saying about a lot of people being around, on Amsterdam specifically, but you can't judge new operators based on old operators, different people's behavior. That's not fair to the new operators. You haven't even given them a chance to do what they say they're gonna do, or to respond to your concerns. They haven't even gotten there yet. I just don't think that that's fair.
Understood. So is there, again, I'm new to this. So is there, if something were to occur,
That
how does,
ties into what I was gonna say.
you think?
So, all right, so first of all, I just want to say, our job here as a board is to very much listen to what you're saying.
One thing, we're just advisory also.
Yeah, that's the only
Make that clear.
You know what?
Well,
It's a good thing
So-
to hear.
Yeah, we appreciate this.
So
So
we-
we appreciate it.
Right.
Sure.
And I totally agree with you. Like, I live in Manhattan, I would never move out. I raised my kids here. There's something special about Manhattan, and it is all about these
And
things.
Brooklyn's good.
And by the way, I live across the street from the Lucerne. Trust me, my
Right.
kids do not want to walk outside.
know that problem.
And you're right, then
Do
you're
not
talking
want
about
to walk. I
adult.
think that's.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like, so I just wanted, like to just address something. Notwithstanding my history in comedy, I really am trying to be as objective as possible. And I think we're all listening to you be very, very intently. So again, we've already said this place has been here since 1986. I can say that the clubs that these gentlemen own have a very good reputation. And we actually have more people in common than I know, and it's not, it's not to say that there's any special treatment here. It's the fact that I know that they have the clubs are run well. I think that you were just asking a question, which I want to answer. If we approve this tonight, which I have a feeling that we're going to, because I think it's an as of right to be there near Broadway. This isn't this dialogue continues, and you heard the owners actually say, without even being asked, that they are open to hearing from you, and they will commit to having a dialogue. I'm gonna, in a second, I'm gonna turn to them and ask them to confirm that again out loud. So you have the open line of communication, hopefully, with the owners if there should be a problem. And then if that doesn't satisfy you, you still have us here. You have other methods. You can call 311, you can call 911. And if there's traffic issues, you have a transportation committee. So we're not going anywhere, you're not going anywhere. And I think I hear the workings of a good relationship, because I hear that the owners have volunteered the ability for you to reach out to them.
Okay, let's have them close up. And it's just before you speak, there's one more person who wants to speak. When you have an opportunity to speak, if you just state your name, please.
My name is. I live on 78. All the points, we've heard about it. We've got to just one more thing, the end of the day, sort of, these are, exciting, get, don't believe us, and then you come out, and all of a sudden that gets thrown out onto the street. And I live right there, I have my used to keep my windows, and I have to go to outside and they smoking, whatever it is, and I understand that, they're going to take another direction with it, and if you, change the way they structure the mind, and out. At the end of the day, it's still going to be coming out with that sort of a high off of the coming from, and then you're going to be sitting on the streets, on 78 streets, and upstairs there, people sit there, they smoke there, they're drinking the coffee out, and I have 2 kids, we're pretty young, 4 and 2 years old. I'm sure you guys remember having kids, or some of you have kids, still young. It's very annoying having to put them to sleep, and then at 3 o'clock in the morning, there's a loud noise outside. Somebody, laughing really loudly, or screaming, and actually, you practically hear everything on that street. It's a very residential street. It's very quiet. It's a beautiful, it's a beautiful block. It's I think one of the wider blocks of of the Upper West Side, which is really nice. And then it comes to that, and all of a sudden you have all this things, and then kids wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, crying, work, like they out of they're saying they heard a noise, and again you got to put them back to sleep, and then you got school the next morning, and you're also up with that. And it just, I feel a lot of the neighbors also express that same type of concern over that. And I think that's pretty much everything else we said I deal with, and I've heard also, that they would like to change things also, but I just don't see how it's possible to be able to change, especially if we can get a better comedy club or better people who can come in to be the comedy. We don't have a lot of people coming down on that time of being at a comedy club. I mean, we've all been to comedy club, and when you come out, you're on the high. You're laughing, you're enjoying yourself. You're not conscious of everything that's happening around because you're in that moment, especially after a couple of weeks. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you, appreciate that. We just want to give the owners the last chance to respond. And then we want.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Scott and I
Mario. I'm sorry, there's other people that have their hands up in the Zoom. I don't know if that's related or not.
Thank you. Max, can you, so they can have a chance to speak?
Actually, yeah, but I could jump in first real quick, and then I'll go to someone named Jeremy. If I heard correctly, I think there was some question about how, if this thing comes up and then issues do arise, as sometimes might happen, how might they go do that? Before you head out, good thing I didn't throw out all my paper business cards. I'll personally give you mine. Our office does actually handle all sorts of complaints or issues around this, and we can work both with the comedy club and with the other agency liaisons to kind of triage or fix any of the issues that could come up. I agreed with Josh's point that we shouldn't judge them based on a past operator's practices, but if and when things come up, and occasionally they may, our office can help serve as an intermediary or work with them to address those. And I'm happy to give you my card on your way out, or as soon as we're off this Zoom. And then I think I'll pass it over to Jeremy, who also has his hand up.
Thanks.
Yes. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I appreciate it. Listen, I'm a huge fan of comedy. I think it's a great thing. It's a great institution to have in New York. It's part of what makes New York, New York. I think the problem is, and it seems to be, I thought I was alone, but it seems to be pretty unanimous about all the comments, is not with comedy. The problem is the location of this. The location of this is on the side street where people have certain expectation that they're not going to have a live venue there. And it's not about the past operator or the future operator. It's just, this is the wrong location. We're trying to figure out, basically, we have a round peg. We're trying to fit in this square hole, and we're figuring out, can we round out the hole a little bit more? That's not what the problem. The problem isn't that the last operator is bad or the future operator is bad. The problem is this is a bad location to have a comedy club. I would much prefer have an Italian restaurant there if it's going to be something with a liquor license. Anything except a venue where hundreds of people are coming in and out. And if the current operator is really not operating well according to the new operators, and the new operators are going to have even more people come in, maybe they'll have more staff, but they're gonna have a bigger problem to deal with. And I know from all my times going out to bars and comedy clubs and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that it's impossible to fully control the noise that comes out. It's just not possible. And the other things that I get associated with that, whether it's drugs, marijuana smell, the trash that gets spewed around, there's a limit of what you can do. And even assuming that they're in good faith saying that they're going to do all those things, everything possible to make things better, it's basically saying, listen, we have a sick patient and we're trying to figure out ways of giving them remedies. Why do we need the sick patient to begin with? If this, I'm very hopeful that the community board, I hear you saying you're probably going to prove it, but understand that if you're proving it basically over the unanimous vote of everyone I've heard speak. I'm sorry, there's one or two people that have been hard to hear, but I think basically everyone is saying the same thing, that they love comedy, but this is not the right location.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Look, is anybody else from the community want to say anything, or can I speak?
You may have one more actually. Mitchell, I'm going to promote you now.
Okay.
It's not clear if they were related to this or not. Here it is.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Yes. No relation.
Okay. Hi, this is Mitchell Cohen. I, excuse me, wasn't expecting to get called on so quickly. I live at 230 West 78th Street. I live on the 6th floor over the existing comedy club. My wife and my 4.5-year-old daughter have lived here now for about 4.5 years. I can tell you that on a regular basis, there's a steady flow of unnecessary noise. And most of the time it stems from what sounds like a lot of drinking. There's the smell of marijuana is fairly common late at night, where it doesn't exist during the day as the comedy club is not open. When we come home at night, whether it's my wife and I or my family, there's always people outside smoking cigarettes, smoking weed, drinking, etc. This is one of the most residential neighborhoods. It's my understanding, and maybe this is brought up, I'm logging in late, had to get my daughter to bed. It's my understanding there's only supposed to be so many liquor licenses within a certain distance. And so I'm a little confused as to how there's even a question of having a liquor license downstairs on a residential block. There's a synagogue at the end of the block. There's kids on the block. It just seems very unnecessary. I'm glad that the comedy club had a great run there. But at the end of the day, everyone in this, I'm on the board of 230 West 78th. At the end of the day, I get a ton of complaints about this. We have one family on the 2nd floor who's actually moving out at the end of the month because of what they've experienced with the club. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's always difficult with these applications when people come in and they, complain that we're here trying to advise the community on everything. But I just go back to the fact, in this specific case, it's been there since 1986. So, and I'm not sure it was there before, but I kind of just feel like anyone who, theater, so another kind of active, is that like anyone, I presume most of the people on the block moved in after the club was there. So it was already there. People knew that they were moving into a block.
Yeah, but the only thing, if I could just add, it's not a fire department, right? Like when the people on 77th Street, they bought, they're looking at a fire station. It's kind of hard to go back and tell the developer, hey, there's a fire station here. You didn't tell me that. It's right in front of me. When we bought, almost 5 years ago, most of the time when you look at the club during the day, it's closed. You don't really think about what goes on late at night.
But I know, but that's another.
Yeah, I think we want to. I think we. Well, that's. I need to go to the.
What I would just say that this is just my opinion on it is that the comedy club has been there. Whatever's going to be there is going to be a liquor license establishment.
Correct.
It's a place of a legacy business in the community. And I think the best thing that we can hope for and ask for is to have responsible owners there that are going to be responsive if there are challenges and if there are problems. And it seems to me, based on their presentation and based on their track history, that that's how they operate, how they want to work with people on the block.
in the greater community. And
In addition, just to add, everyone called the vote. If you, I've heard many times people want an Italian restaurant, which is all good and well, but it also could be a bar like some of the bars on Amsterdam. You don't know what you're gonna get.
And if they were to.
So there's no, you can't dictate what goes
And if
into
they were
that
to move
spot.
right around the corner, right on Broadway, the people that live upstairs on Broadway or in the building next door are gonna complain about it. And it's, you know, no matter where it goes,
Yeah.
people are gonna complain if they don't want it, so.
Can we call the question?
Well, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I just want to say, you've got a commitment from our district manager. You've got a commitment from us. You've got a commitment from the owners that will work to mitigate issues. You have regular channels of 911, 311. We have other committees here. If you don't mind just taking, can the owners please just repeat what you said earlier about your commitment to allowing the public to speak with you? Maybe you're gonna, at some point, give each other a phone number so that if there's issues, you can have a direct line of communication. Would you commit to that?
100%. Scott and I, let's go, Scott. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can have my cell phone number. I don't care. Take my cell phone number, call me anytime there's an issue. We've been doing this for a long time. This is going to be our 4th club. And unfortunately, every time we go in front of a community board, this tends to be how it goes, right? Because people are concerned, and we're taking over clubs that have been run poorly for many years, right? So this isn't the first time that we've flipped the comedy club and made things run effectively. You know, are we going to have a situation where we have no people coming in and out of the comedy club? No, obviously not. We have customers. They're good customers. As far as, you know, marijuana smoke, drinking and cigarettes, unfortunately, you know, that's just everywhere now. I mean, I can't walk down the street without it smelling like weed. I mean, let's be honest. We're not attracting a bad, we're not attracting a bad audience. This club has been here since 1986. What's that?
We're gonna call the
We want to
question.
vote. We want to call the question.
Yeah.
All those in
Am I done?
Yeah, you're done,
Okay.
Scott. They're calling the vote. Let it go.
Okay.
And don't say anything else.
All those opposed? Abstained? Not voting for cause? Passes 7-0-0-0. I want to thank everybody for coming in. We do appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Max is gonna come out, and give you his card, right?
And we want to thank everybody for coming in and sharing your comments.
We're still here.
Yeah, and
No, we appreciate that.
Guys, good luck to you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you very much. Just let us know how to share our numbers. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So-
All the Ubers and all of that stuff.
Well,
I know,
No.
I know, but it's ubiquitous. I mean, that's about 85th in Amsterdam.
It's a smaller size.
I know, so it's really, actually, I met my husband.
Yes, how to share numbers like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those of you who do want to share your numbers that are online, reach out to the individual that was coordinating your applications. Her name's Jessie. I'll fill her in on this conversation, but just feel free to send it to her and then I'll work with her tomorrow.
And I'll send Jesse my clients' numbers.
Awesome, yeah.
A contact point. They really are going to, abide by exactly what they said. So I don't think it's going to be a problem once they actually get in there and show, but it is. But we're going to that they have their numbers and everybody can get in touch with them.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, community board. Thank you, everyone.
Of course.
Thank
Josh,
you.
should I end the Zoom?
You need four things. This is your
Am I
opportunity.
clear to end the Zoom? Did you adjourn?
No, I just want to ask if there's any new business.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, no.
I have a little, very little.
Wait, so there are openings on the community board? Is that
You
correct?
can apply, yes.
She said, but I think,
Until February
February 24th,
22nd, 24th?
yeah, Max can.
And when I come out to share my card, I can also point you in that direction too. No worries.
Doug has some new business.
Yeah, very, very little bit. So I just want to let you know that obviously this, as Roberta said, our board is usually, we're reacting to applications, and in the past, we've done some business to business kinds of events. And one of the things that I'll work closely with the co-chairs of the committee is on, with regard to public safety. There are a lot of retailers that are having issues with theft. And so we're speaking to some of the local commanding officers and detectives about possibly having an opportunity to engage with small business owners in the neighborhood. And that may dovetail into this committee. It could be at full board, but It's just something that has been spoken about. I just wanted to mention it.
That would be a great meeting.
Yeah,
we've talked about doing various
Yeah.
things to
That'd
basically
be
help
really great.
yeah, we're putting it.
owners with issues like that.
Yeah.
So I think that would be
So-
welcome.
Yeah, we have a new commanding officer of the 20th precinct. We've spoken to the 24th about that kind of stuff. So it's germinating. That's all. Great.
Thanks. Sounds good.
Anybody else?
Nope.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.